How to make a Jellicle cat wig. If you are making a Jellicle cat costume, perhaps the hardest and most intimidating part is the wig. However, it is an important part of the costume, as it is what really makes it look like a cat. While the professional stage productions of cats use yak hair wigs, it is possible to mimic them without shaving yaks. Steps. 1. Obtain a base for the wig. The most common materials used are pantyhose, cut the legs off and sew up the holes, swimming caps, or crocheted hats. 2. Choose a yarn to make the hair out of. While you can use colors similar to the actual wig, it is easier to use white and color it later, especially if it is going to have stripes or other markings. Make sure the yarn frays easily and is not resistant to dye, ink. Cut it into a generous amount of pieces anywhere between 5 inches, 12.7 centimeters, to 2 feet, 0.6 meters, in length, depending on which cat's wig you're making. However, don't fray it yet. 3. Using a yarn darner, start threading the yarn into the wig base. Tie the yarn in the middle. You will then have 2 pieces about 2.5 inches long standing up with a knot in the middle. Do this all over the wig base. 4. Use a fine-tooth comb to fray the yarn. Once it is frayed, it will resemble the hair of the actual wigs. 5. Use markers to add color to the wig. While fabric markers are popular for this, Sharpies may work too if the wig is going to be mostly gray or black, like monka straps, for example. Keep stripes and other markings in mind when you do this. 6. Style the wig. While there are exceptions, most of the Jellicles have ears, which are made by twisting 2 bunches of hair and holding them in place. Glue, hair gel, and hairspray are usually used for this. To ensure that the ears don't fall out of place, use some very small rubber bands, ponytail holders around the tips. This will make it look like there are little balls on the tips of the ears, but it will not make your wig look wrong, and it is often even seen on professional wigs. Tips. The exception to the white yarn rule is Mr. Mistoffelees, whose hair is all black. If you're making his wig, save yourself the trouble and just use black yarn. In addition to markers, watered-down acrylic paint is commonly used for coloring wigs. Remember that the look of the cats varies greatly among different productions and in different countries. If you're not a fan of the wigs from your country's version, look at foreign versions, which can be surprisingly different. The length of the hair will vary among characters and often varies even on different parts of the same wig. As a general rule, make the hair for the ears and sideburns at least an inch longer than the rest of the wig. While most of the Jellicle's hair is natural cat colors, like black, white, brown, gray, etc., a few have unnatural colors in their hair. For example, Bombalurina's hair has some bright red markings, Jemima has some hot pink markings, etc. has some bright yellow stripes, etc. When coloring with Sharpies, darker colors will require more strokes. Use this to your advantage. For example, use a black Sharpie to color a white wig gray, then use more strokes to add black stripes. Put on the wig after you finish applying your makeup. Warnings. This takes a very long time. Give yourself at least a month to work on the threading step alone. If you have long hair, be sure to contain it. Unless your hair happens to be the exact same color as the wig, it will be very obvious if it's sticking out. When you fray the yarn, you are likely to get a lot of dust bunnies. Make sure you have a proper place to dispose of these, and ensure that pets will not get near them. When choosing the yarn, be sure it will hold ink dye. There's nothing worse than working for weeks on a wig, only to find out you've made a pure white Victoria wig and you can't do anything about it. While it is possible to make a wig with longer hair, like Macavity or the Rum Tum Tugger, using this method, keep in mind that the lengths of yarn will have to be much longer, and you will probably have to buy more yarn than for a shorter wig. Also, prepare to put a lot of work into correctly styling a long wig. It may get easier the more you practice, so if you make a mistake it's okay. And before long, you will be a pro. Things. Hood pattern and fabric. Yarn. Yarn darner, looks like a large needle. Markers, either fabric markers or Sharpies. Elastic, optional but recommended.